If you think you figured out AI search, think again. AI search is moving so fast that what worked last quarter can literally make you invisible this quarter. And if you think I'm exaggerating, listen to this. We found a case where an AI agent skipped $2 billion brands and instead recommended a random no-name site with basically zero organic traffic. That's when it clicked to me. This isn't rankings anymore. It's about selection, recommendation, eligibility. So I went deep. Maybe a little too deep. I studied all the industry reports on how AI actually chooses sources, what it trusts, what it cross-checks, what it refuses to touch, and the signals it's using to make decisions in 2026. And now, for the first time since we heard the word GEO, Generative Engine Optimization, we're past speculation. We finally know what's working. So in this video, I'm breaking down the new GEO ranking signals that will matter in 2026 and why this is the biggest opportunity local businesses have ever had. Let's go. We'll get to the GEO signals in a second, but first you need to understand how AI searches for an answer because everything I'm about to tell you only makes sense after that. Most businesses are still trying to optimize for the exact questions customers ask, but AI doesn't stop there. So when someone asks an AI tool a question like, who's the best roofer, or what's the best sales coaching tool, the AI doesn't answer that question directly. Instead, it explodes that prompt into a cluster of follow-up searches to gather evidence. These are called fan-out queries. And a recent study of over 60,000 fan-out queries revealed that, on average, AI runs about 9 to 20 of these per prompt. And they almost always include words like reviews, years versus 2025 or 2026, versus comparisons, top or best, free or pricing language. So your best roofer query becomes best roofer reviews, roofing company pricing, roof replacement cost, licensed roofer, emergency roofer, highest rated roofer, repair versus replacement, roofing contractor near me open now, BBB accredited roofer. This is important because it's not enough to optimize for the prompt. You also need to be optimizing for the questions AI asks after the prompt. And if you don't show up in those fan outs, you're not even considered. Because AI doesn't ask who ranks first, it asks who is reviewed well, who is still relevant this year, who gets compared favorably, and who does the internet seem to agree on. And the single most common fan-out modifier across the entire dataset is reviews, which brings us to our first signal. And this one is way bigger than most local businesses realize. Signal number 1, reviews. Reviews aren't conversion content anymore. They're retrieval triggers. For an AI tool to recommend your business confidently, it needs to know what other people say about you when you're not in the room. This is the exact reason why reviews are no longer just persuasion. They're eligibility filters. But here's the part most businesses miss. AI often goes and looks for reviews even when customers don't explicitly ask for them. So someone might type something like best dentist in Austin, and AI actively injects review-based searches into the fan-out process because it's answering a question it has to get right. What happens when people go to this business or use this service? That's not something your website can answer credibly because it's considered a biased source in this case. So AI starts pulling reviews in from multiple sources like your Google Business Profile, G2, Capterra, Trustpilot, if you're in the services and software business, and Reddit threads and community posts. That means your reviews aren't just helping people decide, they're helping the AI decide. If your public review footprint is weak, thin, outdated, or inconsistent, AI might exclude you from search results. The reality, however, is that local businesses struggle with reviews because someone forgot to ask, someone forgets to respond, someone replies late, and nobody ever steps back and looks at the patterns. As a result, reviews break down as a signal. This is where something like Vendasta's AI reputation specialist fits perfectly into this new GEO reality. It automates review requests at the right moment, ensures responses are timely and on brand, centralizes reviews across platforms that AI actually checks, and turns feedback into structured, readable signals AI can use. So instead of reviews being this messy, half-managed thing, they become a clean, always-on reputation signal that AI can trust. But even strong reviews aren't enough on their own, because AI doesn't just validate you once, it looks for repeated confirmation across the web. Signal number 2, off-site entity consensus. When someone asks AI who's the best option for X, it doesn't pull one page and stop. It scans multiple third-party sources, especially top, best, and comparison style pages and looks for which brands show up most often across them. That repeated presence establishes trust in the AI's eyes. And that's how AI builds what I call entity consensus, using off-page signals like unlinked brand mentions across articles, blogs, listicles, podcasts, and newsletters, your name used in branded anchor text, directory citations and consistent business info across the web, reviews, and even community and forum discussions like on Reddit and Quora. But here's where it gets most frustrating. The most influential pages in AI search are also the ones you don't control. You can't just log in and update them like you would your website. However, you can influence them once you know how to look for these high priority mention opportunities. How can we do that? Here's a simple trick I use. Pick a query you want to show up for, like best vegan pizza in New York minus your business name. That minus sign removes you from the results. So now you're looking at every article, listicle, and publication that already defines the best without you in it. For each of those pages, identify why your competitors are included and look for gaps like category, coverage, geography, or use case. Then reach out with a clear value add and identify opportunities to offer proof, which you always want to do wherever possible. Reviews, data, case studies, credentials, anything that makes you look like you belong with the best. And if outreach feels like too much work, there's one off-site asset that you can control, and it's suddenly becoming a sneaky GEO weapon. A well-optimized press release tied to a real milestone like awards, recognition, or expansions distributed on a high-authority site can function like third-party evidence in AI results. So in 2026, PR isn't vanity anymore. PR is a structured authority. Before we keep going, make sure to subscribe for more game-changing insights like this and to stay in the loop with the ever-changing world of AI. Helping us grow our channel means you'll help other people who are struggling with the same questions find the answers faster. Signal number 3, extractability. Can AI actually use your site? Okay, at this point, AI trusts you, so now the model does the obvious thing. It opens your website. And this is where a lot of good businesses quietly lose. When I look at most web pages, they're written like stories. Long paragraphs, soft transitions, lots of "we believe" and "our approach." And if any of you have ever tried to look up a recipe online where each step is embedded within the author's relentless personal anecdotes, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Humans might stick around for that, but AI often won't. Here, when an AI tool like an LLM opens a web page, it usually only checks the title and first snippet, decides if it's worth opening, and then instead of reading top to bottom, it samples small chunks, limited windows, and disconnected sections. But if your main info is halfway down the page, trapped behind a read more expandable section, or requires context to understand, AI can't extract it into an answer. That's why structure matters so much in AI search. I'm talking about clear headings, explicit labels, self-contained facts. In fact, recently, researchers started analyzing the pages that ChatGPT actually cites, and they noticed that 30% of ChatGPT's citations include a table. This tells us that tables are a language AI understands extremely well. When AI scans for quotable blocks, tables contain everything it needs. They label the facts, they remove ambiguity, they compress decisions into clean rows, and they make info easy to lift without guessing. So structure isn't just good UX. Structure is a GEO ranking signal because it determines what AI can extract with confidence. We've still got more signals to explore, but if you only do one thing after this video, do this. On every core navigation page of your website, like your homepage, service pages, and location pages, add a fast answer section at the top. Above the fold, AI should immediately see one sentence each for what you do, who you do it for, that is your clientele, and where you serve, followed by solid proof, like stats, a testimonial, a few credentials, constraints, who you're not for, and especially a pricing range or starting at. Then build the rest of the page as structured blocks AI can lift using clear H2 or H3 headings, bullet lists, short paragraphs, FAQs at the bottom, and yes, tables, definitely tables. Condensing everything from pricing ranges, service packages, timeline expectations, comparison grids to what you do and don't do. Signal number 4, content freshness. So with the fan out queries we just talked about, they very often include the year as a modifier. We need to be tapping into AI's intrinsic fear of recommending something that is old, outdated, or that used to be good, but isn't anymore. So instead of just asking, was this published recently? It also needs to know whether this is still true, which is why it cross-checks your website content across time. If your service includes a CRM, in fanout data, you'll see AI search things like Best CRM 2025, Best CRM 2024, Best CRM 2026, CRM pricing changes, and CRM reviews this year. This is because AI is trying to understand what changed, what stayed the same, who's still competitive, and who fell behind or bit the dust. When we talk about freshness, we don't just mean recency. We also mean continuity. This means that a page from 2023 that's clearly updated and reinforced can actually beat out a brand new page that feels thin or uncertain. This is where most local businesses accidentally fail, and they don't even realize it. Most sites update content silently, but AI doesn't crawl your changelog. It looks for obvious freshness signals. The easiest way to signal freshness is to add a small living update section near the top of your important pages. Something like last updated January 2026. What's changed? Updated pricing ranges for 2026, expanded service area to include whatever city, added 2 new case studies, updated turnaround times based on current demand, and you can even add the current year in titles or headers when appropriate, or use refreshed examples, stats, or screenshots. These details tell AI this page is actively maintained, which gives AI concrete facts it can trust. But before you panic and start thinking that you need to slap years onto everything, start by updating only the most important pages of your website this quarter, like the comparison pages, best of content, pricing explanations, tool recommendations, and service guides. You need to clearly signal this reflects the current state of things. And when AI is choosing between 2 businesses that are otherwise identical, this freshness becomes the tiebreaker. Signal number 5, add local pages. This next signal surprises almost everyone the first time they see it work. One of the most common fanout branches is location, even when the user never mentions it. Most businesses think, if someone didn't say near me or mention a city or neighborhood, location doesn't matter. AI disagrees. It assumes and defaults to local intent for a huge percentage of service-based queries because most people's real-world problems are solved locally. So location-based pages are mandatory, even when the query doesn't sound local at all. So when someone asks, who's the best dentist, what's a good roofing company, or who should I hire for IT support, the fanout cluster will automatically include geo-modified variants as one branch of the research. And if a business doesn't clearly tell AI where it operates, the model doesn't wait around. It simply redirects the recommendation to a nearby competitor with clearer location signals and city-specific pages. LLMs infer 3 things when deciding whether to recommend a business: proximity, relevance, and applicability. And location pages solve all 3 at once. So instead of relying on a single generic service area page or a footer with a list of cities or a Google business profile alone, give AI explicit page-level confirmation. This comes down to creating more city-specific or region-specific pages, local schema on those pages, and local proof points embedded in the content, such as examples from that city, reviews mentioning that area, case studies or projects nearby, and even localized FAQs. Remember, any ambiguity around location becomes a liability. Signal number 6, social posts. For a long time, we were told that social media doesn't have a huge impact on search, and that was mostly true for traditional SEO. But recent data shows that long-form social posts are now appearing directly in search results, especially through features like what people are saying. We're seeing LinkedIn posts, Twitter threads, and sometimes even Threads posts. When we look at the kind of social content showing up in AI answers, it seems to always answer a specific question, break something down step by step, include examples or trade-offs, or sometimes even link out to sources. If you're a local business, this is actually great news because you don't need to go viral. You just need to write search-shaped posts consistently, like how to choose a insert your service in insert your city. What most people get wrong about hiring a provider name here. Pricing breakdown for your service in 2026. When you should not hire a insert your provider like us. What a real insert your service timeline looks like. And write them in the format AI can read and extract from. That kind of content maps perfectly into fan-out language. When AI sees structured facts on your site and similar explanations on social media, it gains confidence that this is a real-world perspective and this is how people actually describe it. 1 or 2 thoughtful posts a week can quietly do more for AI visibility than 10 generic blog posts that no one reads.